right? It is 4:50 in the morning. It is a Sunday, and today I'm going to run you through my full day of eating. We're about 1 week into the off season. Food's still relatively low, but it's getting a little bit higher. I don't think about food every single day now. We're up to about 3,500 calories, which I will take you through later. Still pretty early in the morning, obviously. I am maintaining my structure post-prep this year. I'm probably, like 9 or 10 weeks post-show now? Probably 10 weeks post-show. So it's been quite a while, 2.5 months to be precise. And yeah, I think for me, routine's everything. So I still get up early, and the first things we're gonna do is we're gonna have our morning drink whilst we do our cardio. So I have 25 minutes on the bike today, followed by some steps. So yeah, cardio is 25 minutes, 6 times a week, and 10,000 steps a day. So that is that. Morning drink, we've got ESN daily reload, glutamine, and then I've also got a shite load of tablets to take for my health subs, which you can see in here. So that is the morning drink. Everything at ESN that you're going to see me use today, which will be quite a bit. I'm not going to shove it down your throat every time, but it is genuinely just what I use on a day-to-day basis. All of it is up to 50% off right now for a very limited time, as it's ESN week. So if you do want any product, you want to try anything, you see me use ESN. I've been with them now for going on 3 years. I genuinely use their products on a daily basis. I absolutely love it. I would not be with them if I did not. This code Eagle gets you the biggest discount on all the products, so go and stock up and treat yourself. But yeah, that's where we're up to. I'm gonna go get cardio done, and then it'll be meal one about 7:30 this morning. Got a few things to update you on. Making some changes to the house. You got our new split that I'll talk a little bit more about today as well. Tons of stuff, so stay tuned, it's going to be a good video. I'm now going to go and race Bradley Wiggins for the next 25 minutes as Tour de France is fast approaching and I need to be ready. I am actually on day 14 today of my caffeine detox. I went completely cold turkey from all caffeine to the point I don't even have Pepsi Max because it's got 40 milligrams of caffeine per can. So I do have Pepsi, that's such a lie. I just have the caffeine-free version, right? But all the prep, pretty much the entire last year and a half, I would start my day with my morning drink and a nice refrigerated monster in the morning, and I loved it. Caffeine detox has actually been pretty good. The first 3 days, I was just really tired all the time, like just exhausted. Didn't really get the headaches that people talk about. And then day 4 onwards, I've been pretty sound. Energy is honestly a lot more consistent throughout the day. There's no real urge for me to want to get caffeine back in, to be honest. There's the occasional day where I'll maybe use it if I want like a really big session in the gym or something, but most of the time at the minute, if I use caffeine for like legs, let's say, my heart rate gets too high. I struggle to get my heart rate down in between sets, so my session takes longer and I'm a lot more out of breath and feel sick. That's unique to legs though. But the new split has 4 leg days per rotation. Caffeine, I will probably reintroduce it, but instead of like 400 milligrams daily, I will use no more than 200 milligrams in a day, and I'll only do that 3 days a week max to start with. I'll use it as sparingly as possible, basically. We've now showered. I've done 3 client check-ins. I've got 3 clients in peak week this week with shows next weekend. So they are now all taken care of. It is coming up to 7 AM. I'm gonna start making my food now, just sort of talk for a little bit, so that normally delays things. But first things first, you may remember, if you've watched this for a while, in my kitchen I used to have a pool table down that far end. I've now since matured and spent way too much money on like a nice kitchen table, right? Which seems a little bit boring, but I moved out of my parents' house. I've lived on my own for like 3 and a bit years now. I say on my own. I've lived with Em for a large portion of that, but I moved out from my parents like 3 years ago. I lived in 3 different houses. In all those houses, I've never once owned a kitchen table. That is the first kitchen table I've bought. I've just always eaten at my office desk or at the island like breakfast bar area. So now I've got a kitchen table. We've also bought some garden furniture that's now been put up. Yesterday I bought a new barbecue because I'll just show you my barbecue. She's depressing. So we set the garden furniture up and then thought, oh, let's have a nice barbecue the other day. Came over to my barbecue. Yeah. Anybody want a burger? A burger with a side of tetanus? No thanks. So yeah, that is, the light's really good here, Jesus. So yeah, that barbecue is getting collected at some point, and I bought a new one. I spent way too much money on the barbecue, but Samson barbecues all his food, so I'm going to do the same. And then about a year from now, I'll be about the same size as Samson. That's my theory. So we made some upgrades to the house, basically. And we've got the full kitchen being redone soon, hopefully. Just need to get that fully booked in, but we've made our choice of like design and everything, so that'll be good. And then that's the house pretty much done. This is probably the most different my food's been in quite a few years in terms of an actual off-season phase. It's not very different, there's just a few small changes, but it feels like a totally different meal plan, so I'm enjoying it. Daily totals, about 3,600 calories, 420 grams of carbs, 55 grams of fat, and 360 grams of protein. Some rice pudding meals, some sort of poke bowls that I make now, and then beef potato. And creamy, so very similar actually to what I used to eat. However, there is changes, so just stay tuned. You obviously see me make rice pudding a million times over. It is the best digesting carb. I love it. No gastric distress. Some cream of rices can cause people a lot of distress due to the sweeteners and flavours that add to it. The rice pudding is just rice semolina. It's sound. It's really easy to make as well. Pour it in a bowl, boiling water, leave it, job done, right? You can meal prep it, take it out for the day. You don't need to keep it refrigerated. It's not going to go off. You're fine, basically. So it's a beautiful product and one that is heavily discounted right now, and I can't recommend it enough. The best part that you'll see is the whey paste. Now, for whey proteins, obviously in prep, I was limited to just whey isolate. I was rinsing the cinnamon cereal, which is still my favourite, weirdly. Close second is this elite whey isolate, performance whey, which is whey protein, hydrolysis plus isolate. It is ESN's highest quality protein, with some digestive enzymes mixed in there and stuff like that. So if you are the sort of person that typically does struggle with whey, I promise you, if you have this, there won't be any issues. It is so unbelievably pure and concentrated that it's like eating air, basically. If you're somebody that doesn't struggle with whey protein at all, right, you can just get regular designer whey. Sure, the macros aren't quite as good, but the flavours are normally a little bit better. Leon cereal has been my go-to for years now. So I tend to do a mix of whey proteins. I do like sort of half Leon cereal and half cinnamon cereal is what I'm going to do today, for a bit of spice that you can't do when you are in a prep. So although post-show is difficult, right, if 9 times out of 10, if you gave me the choice of I'll go and have this massive cookie for 800 calories, or you could have a whole nother bowl of rice pudding with your whey paste and your fruit on top, I would choose the whey paste fruit on top of the rice pudding purely because it's going to be so much more filling, and I actually genuinely love the way it tastes. So if you make your food genuinely enjoyable, 9 times out of 10 you'll prefer to eat that than a cheat meal, and that makes it far easier to stay on plan. So you've seen me make rice pudding 100 times over. If you've not already, go back and watch a previous video. I'm going to get it together now and then show you the final product. We have the base of the rice pudding made. We've got 60 grams of rice pudding, 85 grams of frozen raspberries, and 60 grams of frozen blueberries. Now on top, we have to put a little bit of banana and then the whey paste. Pro tip with your whey paste, before you start doing anything, first thing you make is your whey paste. I do 1 gram of protein to 1 gram of water. That's the ratio I use. And then just mix it together and put it in the fridge, and it will thicken a little bit when it cools down. So then you can just get a bit of a better consistency with a higher volume. So we've got half cinnamon cereal going down the right hand half, and then we've got half Leon cereal down the left hand half. It's like yin and yang, but whey protein. Honestly, you never had whey paste, absolute game changer. Just turns your meal into a dessert, basically. In years prior, that would be my rice pudding complete. But nowadays we've upgraded because we've got a bit of a sweet tooth still. Protein granola. Just because it's got protein on the name does not mean it's actually good for you. Don't be lied to. I really like putting a bit of granola on top. Only 30 grams. It's a treat I picked up in America, was putting a little bit of granola on my rice pudding. The little bit of crunch just really adds to it. Not a mass amount, because obviously granola is largely sugar. A few like oats and stuff in there, but it is a lot of sugar, which pre-workout isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Because I'm about to go and train. So yeah, a little bit of granola and then just 10 grams of honey on that. And that is the meal. So we're gonna sit down. I'll give you the total macros. I'm gonna enjoy it because it is up there with one of my favorite meals of the day. In this meal, 105 grams of carbohydrates, 7 grams of fat, and 62 grams of protein. Goes down an absolute treat. The only thing I've not mentioned that I do still add in is, once I've made the rice pudding, I mix in 2 grams of pink salt, because pre-workout, sodium, 5 grams of psyllium husk for soluble fibre, and then 2 grams of sun fibre. So I add about 7 grams of fibre to this meal just because I like to keep my fibre a little bit higher. I find my digestion's a lot smoother and more regular, shall we say. And in this meal, if I didn't do that, there wouldn't be a huge amount of fibre. Later meals, I've got a lot of veg in there, so get some fibre in there, but for the rice pudding meals, I do like to add a little bit. But anyway, that is the meal. It is my fucking, it's like a cheat meal this, it's just so good. If you've never tried granola on your rice pudding or cream and rice, just give it a go. Especially when food gets high. Instead of ploughing through a 150 gram bowl of rice pudding, you can maybe do 100 grams and then a bit of granola on top, and it just stops that flavour fatigue. So it's going to be a useful little hack when food gets really high. $700 calories down the hatch. Right. That is still a meal that I finish, and I'm not satiated. I'm actually more hungry since I started eating it. For like the next 20 minutes, I'll just crave more. Then it will finally digest a little bit, and I will be a little bit more full. But that's a good problem to have, so I can't complain. I am still tracking water intake as well, so that will bring me to 2 litres now I finish that meal. I did 1.5 litres whilst doing cardio. And then like within that rice pudding meal with everything, it's about 500 ml water. So fluid wise, total for the day, still around 7.5 litres, which is pretty high, but like I said, I'm still pretty hungry and drinking more water curbs your appetite a little bit. So that is the technique I'm using. But anyway, it is 20 past 7. I'm going to train in about an hour and a half to 2 hours from now. It is only delts and arms today. A little bit of a quicker session, but this is the 3rd training day in a row and I'm pretty beat up. I had legs yesterday and it was very good, but it took it out of me. So I need to go and finish editing a YouTube video, start that rendering. That will be last week's video as you're watching this. So I need to go and put that live and then go and train. So I will see you to whip up the pre and intra workouts in about an hour and a bit from now. I had a rather large amount of editing to finish, and then a phone call with Harry for 40 minutes, just planning some coaching stuff. Right, pre-workout wise, we've got Crank Pump 2.0, which you can't buy if you're in the UK, but you will be able to soon, so stay tuned. Hopefully a few more weeks that it should be dropping. My favourite is Tropical Punch flavour. There is about 6 flavours that we'll be launching. I've got them all in a big box down there, but I'm not going to go through them right now because you don't care because you can't buy them. And then intra-wise, we do EAAs and 50 grams of cyclodextrin. So that is 10 grams of protein, let's say technically from EAAs, and 50 grams of carbs, obviously. So about 240 calories intra that I will sip on during my training, of which we are about to go and do. So gonna go hit some lovely delts and arms. It is 3 sets of single arm bicep exercises, 3 sets of single arm tricep exercises, a lat raise and a rear delt fly. So gonna go get that boxed off, maybe do some steps after because my session will probably be a bit quicker than Em's, so I will do some steps while she finishes training, and then we will come back for post-workout and you'll never guess what that's gonna be. We are back from delts and arms. My delts and arms feel a little bit disabled. It was a good session. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Now, post-workout, I'm also starving, okay? That's a bit dramatic. I'm pretty hungry. I could eat, shall we say. When I get in from training, I take GDA's, ESN's new GDA. I'll take 2 capsules of that, along with a bit of betaine HCl. We're trying to increase my stomach acidity a little bit post-prep. So I have 500 megs of betaine HCl with a couple of meals. Don't watch this and go and start doing that unless you know you need to increase your stomach acidity, because otherwise you'll get a stomach ache from taking that much betaine HCl. Right, post-workout we have 730 calories, 97 grams of carbs, 9 grams of fat, and 63 grams of protein, which includes 80 grams of rice pudding. Basically, it's the exact same meal you saw me eat this morning, just a little bit more rice pudding and no banana. Still got the granola, still got the whey paste, that's in the fridge. The rice pudding is cooling down there, so I'm gonna whip it together and then sit down and eat. Right, we have the meal. The only other aspect is obviously I take GDAs and stuff before I eat, so it has time to work. With each meal, I forgot to mention this morning, I also do 2 capsules of omega-3s and 2 capsules of magnesium throughout the day. Reason being, I want to get my EPA and DHA intake really quite high, about 5 grams daily. And I prefer to split that across the day with each meal. And then the magnesium, I'm trying to get about just over 1 gram of elemental magnesium. So in one serving, 3 capsules of magnesium complex from ESN. I'm gonna eat this absolute bowl of goodness. Look how good this looks. Unreal. I'm gonna nail this. And then soon enough, I'll need to start prepping meals number 3. 3 and 4 are also the same meals. So I'll show you those prepped together. But time to eat post-workout. (1:30). I have done a load of work, set up a new client, and it's been productive, very productive. I now need to sort of meal prep a little bit for the coming week and for the next 2 meals. So we've got some mango. This is effectively a poke bowl, I guess you call it. When I was in Italy, I was eating a large amount of poke bowls in Venice because it was the easiest way to get some clean food. And I'm a big fan of them. Big fan of them. So I've kind of carried it on. So I have some carrot, some courgette, some mango, and I've already prepped some pineapple. But the best thing about this meal prep is this contraption that I've bought. So with the poke bowl I had abroad, they had the courgette and the carrot cut. Yeah, I don't even know if I had courgette or carrot. Well, I definitely had a courgette. And they had cut it in a very fancy way. And the reason in the off season I get really lazy with eating my vegetables is just because it's a ball ache to cook them every time, every meal. I just don't have the time. So now what I do is I bought this contraption off Amazon. I'm gonna try and not slice my fucking hand in half. I'm gonna get my phallic shaped courgette and carrot. You can see why I like these 2 veg the most. Knock the end off it. This is only the second time I've used this because Em has used this every other time. And then you just try and basically slice it without mashing your finger. You can't even see what I'm doing, can you? Great angle, mate. In about 30 seconds, I've got a very good amount, as you can see, of meal prepped courgette in like these little stringy bits. And then what I do is just get a little Tupperware, knock them all in, and then just keep that in the fridge. And then when I come time to like make a meal, all I've got to do is get that out, get a handful, dash it on my meal, which you'll see me do in a minute, and job's a good one. And then I'm actually eating vegetables all off season. And then same again basically with a carrot, which is not as easy initially. And then in like 2 minutes I've meal prepped a good like 4, maybe 5 meals worth of vegetables. And it's very easy. So I do not know what this is. It was probably like a tenner off Amazon. Just go Google vegetable slicer and I think it'll come up. But anyway, all I'm gonna do now is chop up this mango. I buy pre-cut mango already, not like fresh, because honestly, cutting up a mango I've just not learned how to do it. And that's outside my pay grade. Pineapple, I can manage. Mango, tried it once, was a nightmare. So I'll buy this, I'm just gonna chop this up into like smaller bits, and then I will show you what this is all leading to. My kitchen counter does look like Subway right now, but I quite like that. So we've got in this base, meals 3 and 4 are very similar. The only difference is this one has rice in, the next one has no rice. Remember that. So 55 grams of dry weight sushi rice, 200 grams of chicken breast, 50 grams of iceberg lettuce, and 5 grams of olive oil is currently mixed in the bowl. We are then gonna add courgette. I'm not weighing my courgette because it's like empty calories basically. Nice stringy bit of courgette. It's meant to be 50 grams, that's less than 50 grams. And then we got 20 grams of raw carrot. Again, you can see like, now I've prepped the veg, how easy it is. Same with the fruit, 100 grams of pineapple, cut up into really small squares. Nice, and then we've got 50 grams of fresh mango, which is the stuff I've just cut up. Lovely. And now my bowl is very colourful. and I've had 2 fruits, 3 vegetables, some chicken, and a rice. The only downside is you get less rice because you're having carbs from fruit, obviously. But the upside is fruit's actually quite nice. Pineapple's obviously great as well for the enzyme in it that helps break down the protein. So this 200 grams of chicken digests beautifully. They go back in the fridge, literally ready for my next meal now. And then the final touch, the absolute treat that is still in and only going to increase, but the rice base will go up first. We have 10 grams of honey just over the top. I already put salt on the chicken base, by the way, so there is salt obviously in this meal. And that is that. In this one, there is 645 calories, 84 grams of carbs, 8 grams of fat, and 60 grams of protein in the nice little poke bowl. And I cannot wait to eat it. Also, with meal number 3, I will treat myself to a caffeine-free Pepsi Max. After this meal and after that Pepsi, that'll put me to 5.8 litres. Which is pretty good going. I do tend to get a lot more fluid in the mornings. Obviously I train, I do a lot of cardio, so a lot more fluid goes in then. It also then means I can taper off my water towards the end of the day so that I'm not going to the bathroom all night. So it's kind of a win-win. All right then, as planned, meal number 4. I've done some work, I've showered, I've shaved. Full body shave every Sunday. Worst part of bodybuilding. But I hate body hair, so it had to be done. This one is 417 calories, 31 grams of carbs, pretty much just from the fruit, 8 grams of fat and 57 grams of protein. So it's 200 grams of chicken breast, 50 grams of lettuce, 50 grams of raw courgette, 20 grams of carrot, 100 grams of pineapple, 50 grams of mango, and 5 grams of olive oil. And it tastes just as good as the last one, just a little bit more depressing because there's no rice, but it's fine. Meal 4 polished off, just come up to 4 PM, right on track, so 2 more meals left. Obviously I get up early, I go to bed early as well, so I'll eat my next meal about 5:30, 6, and then 7:38ish for the final meal. So next meal requires a little bit of cooking. Need to chef up some potato because balanced diet. Kyle is quite big on a balanced diet, so we've got 2 rice puddings, 2 rice and lots of fruit. And then a potato meal as well, and some different fruit later. I'm big into my fruit at the minute. I just love fruit and rice pudding and granola. I'm a fat kid at heart, aren't I? It's a good job I discovered bodybuilding, otherwise I'd be 400 pounds. But no, so we'll prep that up in a little bit with some beef mince as well for a different protein source, a red meat, more micronutrients, some healthy fats in there as well, along with some olive oil. So that's coming in a little bit. As I said, it's coming up to 4. There's Spain are playing somebody in an hour. So I'm going to watch the Spain game tonight because it is a Sunday. So all check-ins are done. Done my new starter. YouTube video is scheduled to go live in 2 hours. And so Spain at Saudi Arabia at 5 PM and then Belgium play Iran at 8 PM. So a nice evening of football. And that is what my Sunday's looking like. So I will see you to prep some potato in a little bit. We have finished our next bit of work. I've just filmed a case study on Harry, my client and good friend, who we did 4 shows in about 6 weeks. We took 4 wins, an overall PCA Pro card, and then came second in overall in an NPC show. Very successful season. Most important thing is we improved show to show drastically. And the case study I've just filmed, it's 25 minutes long. It's going over more or less his entire prep in quite a lot of detail, covering what we did between shows, all that sort of stuff. I'm giving that away free, giving that away for free on Instagram. So if you want that, go to the first link in this description. Well, one of the first links in the description. There'll be a link to the Instagram post. Go to that Instagram post, comment case study on that post, and I'll DM it to you. And you can watch that if you are intrigued in my coaching process and how all the secrets basically as to how we brought Harry in so good. So meal number 5 then is just about ready. The game kicked off 10 minutes ago, so I'm running late. 5 to 7 calories, 54 grams of carbs, 11 grams of fat, 57 grams of protein. We've got 240 grams of 5% beef mince, 300 grams of white potato, and 100 grams of raw courgette. So the potatoes should be nearly done. We've got our lovely potatoes in there that are quite warm. Now I've got my beef mince, I'm just gonna chuck it all on top, go next door, and eat. I've just sprayed that everywhere. And that is meal number 5. I'm gonna go watch Spain decimate Saudi Arabia, and then I'll see you back for meal 6 in a little bit. I've just filmed this clip, but we're back again because I wasn't recording. So meal number 6, 550 calories, 47 grams of carbs, 11 grams of fat, and 63 grams of protein. So there actually is a good amount of carbs in this meal, but you'll see where it's spaced. So on the side, I have 150 grams of strawberries, a little bit more fruit, strawberries, most voluminous fruit. I have 60 grams total whey protein in this meal. So I've got 45 grams in the creamy, as you saw, and then I save 15 grams to make into a whey paste to pour over the strawberries, just because it's like a nice dessert, like strawberries dipped in basically chocolate. In this creamy, it contains 250 grams of coconut milk with no sugar. I will spin that once in the Ninja Creamy machine. Then I will add 75 grams of Total Zero Fire yogurt and spin it again, and it just makes it a bit more ice cream-like. And then I'll mix in frozen blueberries, frozen raspberries. And then for toppings, I do 20 grams of Cocoa Pops and 23 grams of granola. And that is the meal. So I'm going to make this, and then I will show you the finished product, because it is a very enjoyable meal to end the day on. I've got the creamy. What an aesthetic masterpiece. We've got the granola on top, the fruit. I think this is a birthday cake flavoured one. And then on the side, what I always eat first, a nice bowl of strawberries with 15 grams of whey paste over the top. Literally just eating a dessert for my meal 6. And look, if you needed this meal to be even cleaner, you just take out the xanthan gum, take off the toppings for the ice cream, and just make the actual ice cream itself. You still get a full pint of ice cream. That's what I was eating in prep, so it's easy. Yeah, the toppings are nice, but they're not essential. It's so good. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy this in my nice little seating area in the garden. What a peaceful time. Beats being on that balcony in Italy. Being in my nice little garden in Rotherham. Not quite as glamorous, is it? So that concludes the full day of eating. I do have, just before I go to bed, my evening supplements, which include ESN Sleep, which at the time of watching this, if ESN Week is live, is 50% off. So go and take advantage of that. It'll be the best sleep product you'll find. Curcumin, ashwagandha, magnesium, zinc, liver support, heart support, lipid support, kidney support, essentials, NAC, and athlete stack, and also some aloe vera juice. So I have that before I go to bed. And then one final thing, because Emma stood staring at me. This lovely fence behind me, you may notice how brown it is, and that's because Emma's painted it. Not only did she paint the fence, she also built the garden furniture that I'm sat on. We've got a very good relationship where I buy it, she builds it, and it's a win-win. Like, she enjoys building it, or whether she does not, I don't know. Do you enjoy building it?
Sometimes it depends what it is.
It's like adult Lego, it keeps her busy. I pay for it, but then I don't have to build it. So yeah, we're all winning. But no, thanks for watching. ESN Week's live. Gymshark sale's probably still live, so take advantage of both of those. Code Eagles. Love you all. See you in the next one.